What is going on, ladies and gents? Once again, Michael or Legacy Kill HD back today with another top video for you. Today we're going to be exploring the open world genre, going over the best upcoming open world games for 2016, 2017, and 2018. I ask that you guys show some support, make sure you smack that like button at the end of the video, and also share in the comments what titles you're looking forward to the most. So let's get right into it here at the number 20 spot with Crackdown III. It's a sandbox-style third-person shooter video game for Xbox One, releasing sometime in Q2 or Q3 of 2016. It retains most of its sandbox elements from the past games. Crackdown 3 pretty much stresses on that destruction factor of its environments, and the single player it's going to be very limited, but in the multiplayer it's pretty much all-out chaos. And I think that's going to bring a lot of fun to this game, as it's a shooter. You know, a lot of shooters are very bland, but with Crackdown 3, it looks like it's going to be very fun seeing, you know, buildings crashing down upon yourselves as you're battling other enemies. So we'll just have to see what else they have in store with, except for the multiplayer. But anyway, guys, let's move on to our number 19 spot with Shenmue III. It's an action-adventure open-world video game for PS4 and PC, releasing in December of 2017. It will be following the story of the teenage martial artist Ryo Hazuki, who has journeyed from Japan to the mountains of China in search of his father's killer, where he meets Ling Shenhua, a mysterious girl who previously appeared in his dreams. After learning the legend of her village, which foretells a united path between them, they embark on a new journey which will reveal their shared destiny. It's crazy to think that it's been 15 years since Shenmue 2, and so far we've seen very little of Shenmue 3. We saw a couple of screenshots, we've seen a little bit of the open world, but it looks like it's going to be interesting to explore. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't really see that we're going to be getting an open world type of game, and so far it looks like they're in their early stages. I know the story just got finalized, but it's going to be interesting how they'll conclude this story and what type of open world that they'll build. But I'm just glad that we're actually getting a Shenmue 3, a game that a lot of people didn't know 100% if we were actually going to get. At the 18th spot, we have Wild, an open-world survival adventure game for PS4. It's set during the Neolithic period, 6,000 to 500 BC. So far, it looks pretty beautiful, just a little universe that they've created. It's going to be in a generated world around the size of Europe. Smaller animals can be used to spy on others, while larger animals can be used to support the player and their tribe in fights with other humans. Animals can be controlled by using Shamnik-like powers. So far, it looks very intriguing. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to play. I like the idea of just going into other types of animals and playing in different types of ways. Like, I'm guessing maybe you can go full on with a bear, and then you can play a little stealthy, maybe with an eagle, spying ahead, figuring out what our enemies' tactics are. And I get the goal is for our tribe to succeed, so it will be a lot of fun to see how that works with these Shamnik powers and how we can, I guess, work upon it and improve and get different types of animals. But I do hope we see some more details on what the actual story or plot will be with this game. But let's move on to our number 17 spot with Kingdom Come Deliverance. It's going to be a role-playing game for the PC, Xbox One, and PS4. It's going to be a single-player experience with branching quest lines and a highly interactive world encouraging emergent gameplay. Kingdom Come will feature period-accurate armor and clothing, combat techniques, and real-world castles recreated with the assistance of architects and historians. It is set in the medieval kingdom of Bohemia, an imperial state of the Holy Roman Empire, with a focus on historically accurate and realistic content. So far, what we've seen in Kingdom Come Deliverance, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It kind of gives me that Mount & Blade feel, which even makes it better. I mean, I just love the Mount & Blade franchise. But so far, it looks like they're stressing heavily on the story and the gameplay. The voice acting that I saw in some of the gameplay looks pretty iffy, so I hope that they do improve on that. But the idea of playing in a medieval environment and battling foes with just a sword and probably a crossbow, hey, I like that idea, man. I just love going around and stabbing the living shit out of person by person. Maybe that was a little excessive, but anyway, guys, let's move on to our next spot at the 16, which is Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. It's an open-world first-person tactical shooter in development by CI Games. It's set to be released worldwide for PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One in the second quarter of 2016. It takes place in modern day with a series of conflicts between three hostile factions. Proxy war and a civil war in Georgia also begins. In order to prevent another Cold War from happening, players must take control of a retired American Marine named Jonathan North as he proceeds to Georgia to find and eliminate its intruder, with whom he shares a dark past. Sniper Ghost Warrior 3 looks like it depends heavily on that stealth factor. It doesn't look like you can just run straight down, guns blazing, killing all the enemies, and finishing off whatever goal it is. I mean, they've said that the AI is not dumb. It's not going to be sitting around peeing or smoking cigarettes, which, ironically enough, it's been in quite a few games. But the idea that you have to figure out your surroundings is very intriguing. It sets up for a realistic experience that you have to play smart, which is something I really do respect with some of these different types of games these days. Now let's move on to that number 15 spot with Watch Dogs 2. It's an open-world action-adventure third-person shooter stealth video game. It's confirmed for release at the end of Ubisoft's 2017 fiscal year, which is between April 2016 and March 2017. Rumors suggest a holiday 2016 release to cover the spot that Assassin's Creed usually holds. There's also another rumor that is saying we will be getting a new protagonist, so I guess Aiden is out and somebody else is in. The big thing I had problems with Watch Dogs 1 was the character Aiden. I felt that his character development lacked in a lot of ways. I just didn't seem to care about him at the end of the story. And I hope that this time around they create a new, different type of character, I hope, and that we get something different and they actually build upon it. Because Watch Dogs 1, it was a concept that sounded very intriguing. A lot of people were attracted to it, and then when it came out, it just didn't feel as good as how it should have been. Now at the number 14 spot we have Scalebound. It's an action role-playing video game for Xbox One set to release sometime in 2017 as it was delayed. It was actually supposed to come out this year, 2016, but the players assume control of Drew, who's accompanied by a dragon called Thuban. Players can use a variety of weapons to defeat enemies and may issue commands to the dragon which assists players during battles. The concept of having a dragon over your shoulder as you battle enemies or monsters is pretty badass, and so far what we have seen is Scalebound. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to explore and play with our character and possibly Thuban, depending on what type of open world we do get. But having this game delayed till 2017, I'm not sure what that reason is for. I hope it's just for polishing or adding extra content and not just because the game is a mess, but we'll just have to see what we have in store with Scalebound. At the 13th spot we have Horizon Zero Dawn. It's an action role-playing video game in development for PS4. It's made by the Killzone developers. Players take control of Aloy, a hunter and an archer, as she progresses through a post-apocalyptic land ruled by mechanized creatures. The game is set 1,000 years in a future in which humanity has long abandoned Earth due to the world being dominated by robotic creatures. I mean, the first glimpse of gameplay I saw robotic dinosaurs. It's an interesting concept I never thought I would ever see, but it's a pretty cool one, and it's going to be fun to battle against these robotic creatures while exploring this world. I mean, I don't know what the plot necessarily will be about. I do wonder if we're going to actually be battling to survive. I mean, obviously there's going to be robotic creatures trying to kill us, as we're probably the last humans around. But I do wonder if we're going to be diving into the origins of these robotic creatures and finding out how they became and how they took over the world. Anyway guys, let's move on to the number 12 spot, Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. It's a PC-only game. There has been some rumors regarding a console release, but the game is set 200 years before Mount & Blade Warband. It takes place during the decline of the Calradian Empire and the formation of the kingdoms that appear in the previous games. I talked about it earlier when we were discussing Kingdom Come Deliverance. I just love this franchise. I love the strategy element that they introduced, and so far what we have seen, it looks like it just builds upon what made Mount & Blade amazing. The siege mode has been improved, and they are having mod support. The gameplay mechanics and the graphics look heavily improved, and I respect that Tailworlds are taking their time on this. I know that they've said that they're hoping for a 2016 release later on, but you can tell from them that they just want to take their time and create a great game for us, and so far what I've seen, it looks like it's improving every single time that they actually announce a new detail about the game. To the number 11 spot we have Final Fantasy XV. It's an action role-playing video game being developed and published by Square Enix for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The characters have the ability to traverse environments in a free-running style, which also extends to battle with larger enemies. It's been in development since 2006, but 10 years later we're finally getting a release on September 30th, 2016. Final Fantasy XV begins as an armistice is declared between Lucius and Niflheim, ending the Cold War that has raged over the possession of the world's last crystal. A peace treaty is finally drawn up, and as a part of the agreements, Prince Noctis is to marry the Lady Lunafreya of Tenebrae. After Noctis leaves of the day the official treaty is to be signed, Niflheim invades Lucius and takes the nation's last crystal for its own before launching attacks on Solheim, Tenebrae, and Accordo. Noctis and his friends now journey to retrieve their kingdom's crystal and defeat Niflheim's forces. So far what we have seen of Final Fantasy XV, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun finally getting this title, and it's going to be fun exploring this little open world that they have created. But to the number 10 spot we have Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. It's an open world tactical shooter video game in development by Ubisoft Paris. Ubisoft says it will be one of the biggest open world games that they have ever published. The game will be playable on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. The game is set in Bolivia, which in the game is the largest supplier of drugs like cocaine in the world. The supplies of such drugs are controlled by the Santa Blanca Drug Cartel, a powerful organization whose influence has destabilized the region. The rise in power of these drug cartels concerns the United States government as they have become a world threat. As a result, the United States Army dispatches an elite special operations unit called the Ghost to destroy and reveal the evil connections between the drug cartel and the local government. This next installment of the Tom Clancy Ghost Recon franchise does look very innovative, and it looks a lot different. So far, as I've seen, the multiplayer gets that Arma feeling to it, and that's what I really do like. And they also have that nice little story touch around it, which we'll be able to explore. I hope that it's not like a 6-7 hour experience and that's it. I hope that it goes on hours on, maybe a 30-40 hour experience. I know I expect a lot out of some of these games, but I just want longevity with some of these titles. So we'll just have to see what Ghost Recon Wildlands has set up for us. But so far, the universe that they've created, what we've seen in the gameplay trailers, does look very interesting. It looks like it's going to be fun to a player versus player experience. At the 9th spot, we have Star Citizen. It's an upcoming space sim for PC. Star Citizen will consist of two main components: first-person space combat, mining, exploration, and trading with first-person shooter elements in a massively multiplayer persistent universe. It also has, I guess, a bunch of little modules with it. Like one of them is Squadron 42, which is going to be the story-based single player. Some of the biggest talents are going to be involved with this, such as Gary Oldman, Mark Hamill, Mark Strong, Gillian Anderson, Andy Serkis, and many more. The big part about this, with it being an open world, is that the persistent universe is going to allow us to explore. Star Citizen so far is just looking to be a massive game. I believe they've raised over $100 million, one of the most fund-raised games, and it just looks like it's going to offer so much, but the big debate is when we're actually going to get the full release for this, and I really do think this is going to change PC gaming for the good. This being made by Chris Roberts and his studio, it looks absolutely phenomenal so far, and it feels like they just keep on adding and adding, and I don't know what the final product will be, but it looks like it's going to be humongous. At the number 8 spot, we have Mass Effect Andromeda. It's an action role-playing third-person shooter video game for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. There will be a multiplayer component, as it has been confirmed. This will be taking place long after the original series, but it was recently delayed till early 2017. The only gameplay detail that we have so far is that the Mako, a 6-wheeled vehicle used in the first Mass Effect, would be returning in the 4th installment. BioWare has said a lot that this is not a 4th game. It's not Mass Effect 4. It's a complete new universe, new characters, new everything. In a way, it's like I guess you could say a reboot. I know a lot of people don't like hearing that, but I mean, I don't think we're going to be getting many mentions, but I hope that BioWare builds upon what they had with that story. The role-playing element was a lot of fun with the Mass Effect trilogy, and honestly, guys, I'm just ready for another Mass Effect game. I'm just ready to see what BioWare has in store for us next. At the number 7 spot, we have Mirror's Edge Catalyst. It's an open-world action-adventure platform video game for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. It will be a reboot of 2008's Mirror's Edge and will revolve around Faith's origin and her attempt to overthrow controlling corporations who rule the City of Glass. Players will be traversing through the city using aspects of urban exploration and parkour movements to complete missions and evade enemies or knock them off their feet. This game will be developed by DICE. No developers from the original project are returning, so that is interesting that this is literally completely new. It definitely is a reboot. It's not like we're having half the development team in production. They know what they're doing. They know who Faith Connors is, and this is a new team. But the new take that we have seen through gameplay, it does look like it's going to be a lot of fun. The story does look intriguing. And I mean, I just hope it has hours on fun, but so far, so good. To the number 6 spot, we have Borderlands 3. It was confirmed in April of 2016 to be in its early stages. Gearbox has been working on Battleborn. It was just recently released. And I just hope that they take their time and make another masterpiece. I mean, Borderlands 2 and even the first one, they were just a lot of fun to explore and play. It was an FPS game that was different, and there's a reason why it won Game of the Year. And Borderlands 3, I hope it's no different, and I hope that they take their time and they deliver an experience that we won't forget. Now down to our top 5, here at the 5 spot, Mafia 3. It's an action-adventure video game for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. It's set in 1968 in the city of New Bordeaux. The story revolves around Lincoln Clay, an orphan and a Vietnam veteran who is on a quest to build a new crime organization to confront the Italian mob, which kills the whole black mob. Clay is saved by a priest and attempts to start his own criminal organization to get revenge. He's aided by 3 allies, which include Cassandra, Burke, and Vito Scaletta, obviously the main character of Mafia 2. It will be releasing October 7th, 2016. So far, what we have seen of Mafia 3 looks amazing. I mean, for Mafia 2, I was really worried about what Mafia 3 would be like. I was my main thing, I think I said this in a couple of my other top videos, was that Mafia 2 was linear. You really just couldn't go around the open world, you couldn't visit whatever there was to see, and I really thought they could have added a lot more content. I feel like, in a way, I wish it was more like a Grand Theft Auto type of game, or even a Rockstar title to begin with. I'm just ready to explore New Bordeaux and figure out what it has to offer. If there's going to be side quests or car racing, gambling, if we're going to be able to actually build like a crime organization around us. I mean, there's so many innovative things that Mafia 3 can offer, and I'm just ready to dive right into it. So let's move on to that number 4 spot with No Man's Sky. It's an adventure survival video game for PS4 and PC, and honestly, it has potential to redefine the video game genre. No Man's Sky's gameplay is built on 4 pillars: exploration, survival, combat, and trading. And the main goal of this game is to make it to the center of the universe, and that's what everybody's been talking about as of late, and it really is, what does the center of the universe offer? And I mean, so far there's been a lot of theories saying there's just going to be a lot of different types of spacecraft, maybe a lot of different types of enemies that we'll have to face. I get that this game doesn't really have a story and we have to build it ourselves. I mean, I think I learned that through the comments on some of my other videos, but so far, No Man's Sky, it's made by an indie developer named Hello Games. They've been working on this for years, and I really do want to see what each planet does have and the different type of environments that they supply to us. So let's move on to our number 3 spot with Red Dead 3. It was recently leaked with in-game map details showing the game will be a prequel with the ability to swim, and the game will be much larger compared to Red Dead Redemption. TechRadar actually revealed that a source close to them confirmed that this leaked map was legitimate, and there will be an expected announcement at E3, and possibly we could be getting this late 2016. A lot of you guys may be asking yourself, what do you mean Red Dead 3? If you're not familiar, Red Dead Revolver actually came before that in 2004, and then Red Dead Redemption came in 2010. And if we do get a third installment, I don't think it's going to be Red Dead Redemption blankety blank. It's probably going to be Red Dead something, maybe Rebellion, maybe Revenge, or so on. Rockstar Games are some of my favorite developers. They created some of the greatest gaming franchises in games, period. We got Bully, Grand Theft Auto, Max Payne, LA Noire, and obviously the Red Dead. But I'm just ready to follow another story. I mean, the ending of Red Dead Redemption, it made me feel some emotions, and when a game can do that, it succeeded, and I'm just honestly ready for another Rockstar game. Now let's move on to our number 2 spot, which is The Elder Scrolls 6. Bethesda Game Studios working on 3 unknown projects. They're all said to be in early production. They also recently opened a studio in Montreal, and there has been some rumors regarding what the setting will be. The biggest one is saying that we will be playing in Black Marsh, and then there's also been some other wilder ones that say maybe we'll be coming out of Tamriel, coming from another continent, which would be interesting as we really haven't explored anything outside of it. Then there's also the talk among the community, which is what will be the storyline for the next game. Will the Thalmor, the Eldmiri Dominion invade, or maybe the Dwemer? Will they come up with some sort? There's just so many different types of lore with the Elder Scrolls franchise that there's so many different pathlines that we could be getting in this next game. My only other big question about what will be in Elder Scrolls 6 is how big mod support will be, as it was introduced into Fallout 4 and it should be coming out actually soon. There's just so many great mods that came out with Skyrim. We had the Forgotten City, which is, in my honest opinion, one of the best mods I've ever played. And then there's other types of mods that just made the characters, well, the NPCs around you a lot more sexier and a lot more interesting to play around. Anyway, now down to the number 1 spot, we have Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red last year brought us the best open world game in my opinion. That is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Just an amazing story, amazing gameplay, and exploring the world just made it so much better, and the side quests were as equally fun as the main story was. Now to their new project, Cyberpunk 2077. It's an action role-playing video game. The game aims to be mature and ambitious, with character customization being strongly tied to the plot. Planned features include a non-linear story with different character classes, as well as both first-person and third-person perspectives. Cyberpunk 2077 will feature a dystopian, futuristic world in which ultra-modern technology coexists with a degenerated human society. Reports state the studio expects a late 2016 release, but more likely will be released sometime in 2017 or 2018, as the game has not been easy to develop with the changes in hardware. They've been working on this project for a couple of years now, and it's only in early development. I believe in an investor's phone call they wanted a 2016 release, but it's more likely that this is going to be a couple years out. I like the fact that they're trying something different this time around. I get that a lot of people thought they could have just gone back to the Witcher universe, made a Witcher 4, or made a Witcher spin-off. They've clearly said they don't want to just continue on the Geralt story. They're done with his, and if they do come back to it, it's going to be a different character or a new character completely. And this time around, they're going with a different type of story, a different type of genre to begin with, and I just hope with what they brought with The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, we get the same thing with Cyberpunk 2077. I just want them to take their time, don't push out a release, but they bring us something that we will never forget. I mean, that's what The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt brought to me. I just won't forget my experience with that game. Anyway, guys, that is my top 20 list of open world games to come. Let me know what's at the top of your list or what games you're looking forward to the most. Make sure you check out some of my other top videos. I have a top overall games, and I also got a top FPS and third-person shooters video, so make sure you guys check that out. Make sure you like the video if you did enjoy, and make sure you subscribe for more. See you guys later.